Okay guys, so for week 5, we're going to be going over how to use coordinates in Scratch. So by the end of this tutorial or worksheet, you'll be able to control the cat using the arrow keys and draw pictures with it. You'll also be able to use the spacebar to do some interesting things. Alright, let's begin. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make the Scratch cat move up, down, left, or right with the arrow keys. So to do this, we're going to have to use a lot of conditionals. Okay, so as usual, when green flag is clicked, we want this code to run forever. And now, if the up arrow key is pressed, then what we want is for the cat to go up by a certain amount. So let's go to motion. Let's go to change Y by. So this just changes the position of the cat by 10 vertically. So let's try this code out. I press the green flag, I press the up arrow key, and the cat goes up. Perfect. So the next thing we want is if the left arrow key is pressed, we want the cat to move back by 10. Then we change either Y or X. So if Y is up and down, X is left and right. So we use the change X by block. And since we want the cat to go backwards, we use a negative number, so negative 10. Alright, let's try this out. I used the left arrow key and the cat moves back by 10. Perfect. Now that we've done 2 of the keys, feel free to pause the video and try to do the same for the right arrow key and the down arrow key. Alright, did you get this as your answer? So let's try this code out. Alright, so the cat moves in all directions. So that's it for part 1. And how are we using coordinates to make the Scratch cat move? Coordinates just tell you where things are. So if we didn't have coordinates, we wouldn't know how much to move the cat by. If I told it to move up, it could move up by this much or this much. So coordinates tell us exactly how much to move by. Alright. Now we're on to the first challenge. So what we want here is if we press the space bar, Scratch should go somewhere random. So again, we need to use a conditional to do this. And here are the blocks if you want to try this on your own. So if space is pressed, then the cat will glide. So let's try this out. I press the space bar and the cat glides. Perfect. And then the next thing we want to do is we want the cat to use the pen to make drawings as he moves. To do this, we have to click on the bottom left button, add extension, pen, and then pen should appear below my blocks. So you should use pen down to have the cat draw something as he moves. So let's try this out. I press the green flag and the cat moves, drawing something behind it. When I press the spacebar, the cat still does the same thing. Perfect. And now let's move on to our last challenge. So let's make a game. When Scratch runs into the apple should run away from Scratch, and Scratch should get a point. So to do this, we'll have to use variables and conditionals. So let's first create our variable called score. How do we create our variable called score? So we go to make a variable called the variable score. Score appears on the top left. Let's see. And then we want score to increase when the cat's touching the apple. To create the apple, you click on choose a sprite. And let's click on the apple. And so it takes a while, but our apple sprite will appear over here. Okay. And so again, if the cat is touching the apple, we want the apple to move away from the cat. So again, we need to use a conditional. How do we create this conditional? Right, so we go back to control, use the if then block. First we need a when flag is clicked and forever block. Right, and then if the apple is touching the cat, we go to sensing, and then touching. So not if touching the mouse pointer, but if touching the cat, which is sprite 1 in this example. And then how do we make the how do we make the apple move away? Yeah, so we use glide 2, and then we can change this to 0.5 seconds. And then finally, you want score to go up. So if you go back to my variables, which block allows score to go up? So change my block. Change score. Let's see. And then one last thing we want to add is whenever we start this game over, we want score to go back to 0. So let's use the set block, right, which sets things to 0 or any value. And let's set it to 0. Okay. I press the green flag. I move the cat. And the apple is not responding. Interesting. Okay, I just clicked the flag again. So yeah, interesting. Oh, I see. So you need to also use a forever block because we want this feature of the apple to be true forever. So let's start the program one more time, and here's our game. Cool. So congratulations, you guys have coded your first program using coordinates.